What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk. Good morning, everyone, as well. Good morning. Got my iced coffee ready to absolutely attack the day. Look, we've had some absolute massive breaking news tonight. Maybe some people were asleep. Maybe some people were I don't know, doing whatever it is they're doing at that such time at night. But look, I'm sure most of you would have seen the news that broke last night that Qatar are now confident of sealing the deal for Manchester United after the stock prices rise. Publications are printed out in Qatar, and credible journalists are talking about everything going on with the sale. And a lot of people are kind of staying tight-lipped about it in terms of the very credible ones, your Ornsteins, Romanos, anyone around the Rain Group, the Glazers, and Qatar itself. It's very tight-lipped, but this publication that got put out last night, which I'm going to dive into. In fact, I'll dive into it in a second. Let me just address the elephant in the room, right? So first and foremost, these glasses, before anyone puts any kind of comment in saying, why are you wearing glasses, whatever, blah, 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 the blue light glasses. I'm editing that much, and I'm doing content that much, and I'm on social media that much. My eyes are burning. So these are just to protect my eyes, first and foremost. So that's the elephant out of the room. Also, as well, if you guys haven't seen the interview we did with James from the United Muppeteers yesterday, make sure you go check that out after this video. Very insightful in terms of the ownership, transfer situation, and everything that's going on. He's a really, really good guy to have on. So make sure you check that out. And also make sure you subscribe to Manchester United, subscribe to Real Reds Talk, smash a like on the video, and subscribe to the channel. Right. Okay. Let's dive into it together. A bang saying any news from Manchester United? Yes, there is a bang. I'm going to dive into it now, right? So make sure you smash a like on the video, like I said. We've got a few people in the chat. Brian's here saying actually buzzing. Mbappe, come home, please. Red Knights, the newspaper is for his cousin, not father, apparently. Brandon's saying they look fit. Don't worry. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Right, let's dive into it. So, Sheikh Jassim's bid apparently has been successful. The deal will be announced soon. Al Watan Qatar, Sheikh Jassim's father, Hamad bin Jassim Al Thani, owns half of the newspaper, according to reports. This is not me saying it before anyone says anything. Major breaking news: Qatari outlet Al Watan, an organization that Sheikh Jassim's father owns. It's just put a different way. I don't know why that's there. Now, this is interesting. So, Fahad El Made, all the news received indicates the success of Sheikh Jassim's acquisition of Manchester United, and the announcement of the deal will be very soon. There's been a spike in Manchester United PLC stocks, which means the NYSE have reacted to something they've heard about the takeover, and huge confidence has grown in the Qatari camp that they will be named the new owners of Manchester United. One thing that was interesting, and I was listening to a couple people last night. So Faisal Islam is a BBC economics editor, right? And he's literally just put a tweet out saying the Glazers were trying all methods to squeeze the Jassim bid. The spike in Manchester United shares means traders are betting the Glazers are about to sell to Sheikh Jassim of Qatar. So there's a lot of questions coming out of this. Why has no official line come out? Because it's simple. Like I said, everybody's being tight-lipped and everybody's being hush-hush. Of course, a lot of people have signed NDAs. They can't publicly come out and say, we've done it, but they feed it through the media. And, of course, the media is very manipulated in Qatar. So I can't speak for journalists that are out there because, let's be honest, not a lot of us follow Qatari journalists who are back here. Like over here, we know Romano's pretty credible. We know Ornstein's credible. We know certain ones, you can pretty much bang for your buck what they're going to say. Over in Qatar, I own my hands up. I have absolutely no idea. So it's hard to kind of differentiate who's like tier 1 to tier 2 to tier 3, etc. You take my point. The other question is, why is the stock price going up? Are investors jumping on the bandwagon because of potential news, or do people have genuine insight and want to make a buck? There's no clear evidence to suggest either. I'd love to speak to a financial expert to kind of get his take on that to see if this actual stock thing means anything, because we've seen it previously when anything gets announced about Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the stock market goes. When anything gets announced about Qatar, the stock markets go. So is it actually affecting it, or I don't know? Shah Sam saying, I wonder how long the Prem will take to approve this sale. That's another thing that I want to touch on as well that needs to be considered for sure. Vincent saying, hey, dude, you've got these real annoying things around your eye. It's bloody annoying. What? Are you on about my glasses? I've already explained that, Vincent. I'm not going back through that. Red Knights, the media in our region can't speak about something like that unless the authorities told them to do so. Cleon Lopez saying, is it true Qatar won the bid According to reports, it is. Yeah, it certainly is. Now, I had a conversation with somebody about the stock prices who's very in the know and etc. And they said this is purely speculation from investors in publicly traded shares. Those investors are just people like you and I. They do not have insider info. They are reacting to the same reports and information we can all see. Like I said, we also had Faisal Islam, who works for BBC as an economic expert. And to explain, he said the reason the share price is a gauge of perceived likelihood of Qatar victory is Justin's bid for 100% of shares and will pay out on New York listed shares at takeover price. The Ineos bid is believed to be focused on the Glazers shares alone. Listed shares won't immediately benefit, which Simon Stone has retweeted as well. So map that out if you can. Because I can't. I'm not a financial expert. I'm not going to even pretend to be. I'm just going off. I've got pulled pieces of it, credible information from everywhere, and tried piecing it together. And it's impossible. Like, a lot of people can't do it. But please do continue to get your comments and let me know how you feel if I were to win the bid, if they were to take over. I'm going to touch on Kylian Mbappe towards the end of the show. I mean, that's obviously a lot of transfer talk at the minute, and it's kind of coincidentally it got announced at the same time for Fabrizio Romano, and I'll touch on it in a second anyway. But look, in general, it's hard to get genuine, concrete information for this. Even like I said, gold tier list, standard journalist have struggled to get something out because everyone's just being so hush-hush on it. They can't get anything out of it. Keep getting your comments in on TikTok. I'll read a couple out in a second. It's my ring light. Oh, yeah, I know. You know what? I'll just take that off you, Vincent. If it's annoying you. There you go. If it's bugging people, I'll play to the people. What was I saying? What was I saying? Yeah, it's hard for actual, these Simon Stones or David Ornsteins or these kind of guys to get actual genuine information. And it's been like that since he announced that he was looking for a significant investment in November. It's been a lot of guesswork. There's been a lot of people trying to jump the gun before it's actually happened. I've seen so many tweets saying tonight Qatar will happen and tonight, Sir Jim has won the da-da-da. People scaremongering, people trying to get like a story out of it. It's very hard to find actual credibility. So to look for, I think the guy from the BBC Economics who was just talking about then, Faisal Islam, I think his name is, very credible. Obviously, people are kind of waiting for the David Ornstein tweet and things like that, but they're not going to do it until they've got absolute concrete news. And this isn't to say that this journal that's come out from Qatar, not the journal, the newspaper, whatever it is concrete as well. It could be a fake source. It could be propaganda. You have absolutely no idea. So it's really hard, but is it out? The one thing I wanted to kind of throw back to the community and you guys who are currently in the chat is this out of the realms of possibility that, let's say this is true, right? Let's just take it at face value, whatever you want to call it. This bid, the bid has been successful, right? And it's pushed them up to lean more towards Qatar. Is it out of the realms of possibility that the Glazers go back to Sir Jim and say, oh, these are going to win, Yeah, the bid they've put in, I mean, maybe there's room you could put in another bid if you want. And Sir Jim's like, and they're like, honestly, if you put in a little bit more now, keep us in, offer us something maybe a little bit more lucrative, we'll stay in. Obviously, no United fan wants that. It's dragged on for long enough, 7 months, and fingers crossed they're not jinxing it. But we all know what these parasites are like, and if they smell any opportunity of making an extra buck, for a fact they will. So I'm not getting overly excited. The fact that, they might be gone for sure, because this is something that we've wanted for a long time, regardless whether you want Qatar, regardless whether you want Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I think everybody's united on the fact that they want the Glazers gone, right? So if this got announced, obviously I'd be euphoric, I'd be happy, I'd probably cry, champagne outside Old Trafford, the full works. But I'm not getting to that point yet because I haven't seen that concrete news. I do feel like there could be legit news in the next kind of 24 hours. I genuinely believe we could in 24, 48, 72, because you got the transfer window on Wednesday, and it officially opens on Wednesday. I think from now to when the transfer window opens, I think you will hear an official line. I think that's how it seems to go in. That's how it seems to be going. Sorry. And then you discuss, what happens if Qatar does win? Where do we go from there? What happens to the club? There's going to be a lot of ramifications. Someone mentioned in the chat before about, will the Premier League accept it? Will they have to jump through hoops? I think if you know anything about the UK government, if Qatar get involved with this and there's certain offerings and money's involved and trade deals and all this kind of bollocks, you know what the UK government are going to do. Let's not play silly. You know exactly what they're going to do. They will greenlight it. I genuinely believe they'll greenlight it regardless of the situation. Whether that's right or wrong, the government will do that. There was pressure from the government to do it. What was it on now? With a certain thing, I think with Newcastle, with the Saudi owners, like you can go back to the City owners as well. The Premier League, unfortunately, whether people like it or not, it's going to become a state league essentially, because you've got Newcastle who are doing it now. You've got Man City who had the owners there for like 15 years. United are probably going to end up being state owned, even though Sheikh Jassim saying it's a 92 foundation and it's individual and it's bollocks. It's not. It's obviously state owned. So United are going down that path. And then what about your Arsenals, your Spurs, your Liverpools, people like that, teams like this? Like, they're not going to be able to compete. It's as simple as that. They're not going to be able to compete. They're going to want that. And then other potential investors who you've heard, even surrounding United, other state ownerships and stuff will come into the mix. And you'll probably hear next year that Spurs are being taken over by, you know, the most richest family ever in Scandinavia, or just something along the lines of that. So, unfortunately, for people who don't want the club to be owned by a state, the Premier League's going like that with Newcastle and City on it, and, you know, the plane's taking off, and we're sat here like, well, the thing is with United, we're self-sustainable. We're one of the only clubs who are self-sustainable. But the issue is, because of the debt that the Glazers have put us in, they've left hanging over the club about £1.2 billion. The fact the stadium needs doing, the training ground, the women's team, you've heard it all before. I don't need to go into it, right? The fact that this needs to happen, we need investment, significant cash injection. And it always felt like Sir Jim Ratcliffe's bid was never that kind of... He never knew his plan. The only thing I heard from Sir Jim Ratcliffe was the fact that he's going to put Manchester back in United. That's the only thing I heard. Whereas from Sheikh Jassim's camp, you're hearing 100% pledge, debt-free, takeover, invest in this, invest in that, invest in that. And as soon as United fans heard that, it's weird because we did a show about saying, like, well, we'd love to hear a 10-step plan from these owners, what they want to do. You know, if they're going to take over the club we've supported all our lives, we want to know what the situation is and what's going on. So when Sheikh's camp put out the fact that he was going to do all this, you're reading it, you're like, tick, 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 tick. Sound, right? Because that's what I did. So, Jim, you've not really heard much. Then you've got Nice, everything that's going on over there. He's not really managed that right. There's like directors that have been sacked. The manager, who's now manager of PSG, who's won the league with PSG, which I appreciate is very easy. But they got rid of people, and then they sold like Premier League rejects. They're about to sell the best players to Liverpool. It's a weird situation at Nice. So the whole Sir Jim Ratcliffe bid never fully sat with me right. I have to be completely honest with you. But then Qatar as well. Like, there's issues with Qatar when you talk about the human rights situation. Everything, the migrant workers in the World Cup is obviously a travesty. We can't just avoid that and step over that like it's not there. And people are saying, like, not bothered about morals and think that everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Completely get that. I get why people want Qatar. I get why people want Sir Jim. I get why people might not want either. And they might want an Apple or an Amazon. That was the direction I was going down. But it's as simple as this right now. This is the situation. This is the situation. Qatar are looking like they're going to win. Any way you look, it feels like it's going to get announced very, very soon. What does that mean for the transfer window? Regardless whether whoever it is you want in, when they do come in, hopefully we can start, you know, these targets that we're looking at and and ahhing at, Mason Mounts, Rasmus Højlund, I think it's going to be. I was speaking to James about that yesterday. He's recently just switched agency for this summer, just for this summer. He's got the same agency as Erik ten Hag's. Is that coincidental? I think not. Harry Kane looks impossible to do. And then that's when it leads me on to... In fact, I'll get on to the next topic, but I'll read a few comments out because there's quite a few in the chat, so I appreciate that. Make sure you do leave a like on the video, by the way, and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Cleon Lopez saying nothing on Sky Sports yet. I'm sitting in front of the TV. Sky Sports are very slow, man. Don't get me started on Sky Sports. They're not seeing the clip I put out on TikTok. Sky Cavet. I don't know where my glasses are. I'm not doing the impression again. I'll do the impression again if we get 20 likes. That's fair. Benjamin Mwendo says, hey, bro, let's wait for mainstream media first. Let's stop being too gassed. In my opinion, it's slightly shifting to Qatar, but for now, I feel it's speculation. I take your point. I fully take your point. I understand what you're saying, but with the BBC economic expert and with Simon Stone retweeting, all the other stuff that's kind of there's no smoke without fire. I guess there's no smoke without fire. I think there's something in it. Personally, you don't have to take my opinion for it, but I think Qatar will be announced within the next 72 hours. I genuinely believe that. That's not me hardcore facts. I'm not getting that from a certain thing. People I've spoken to, whatever. I genuinely believe Qatar will take over United now, out of everything that I've seen. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. Do you know what I mean? Vincent's saying, I'm sorry, but it's coming out tonight. You've got more chance of Phillips, Schofield coming out and telling the truth. So Jim needs to go back to the drawing board and buy Altrincham FC. Wow, that's from Gray. Luca de Gabriel says, glad the Glazers are going to be over. It's been crap under their ownership since 2005. Now it's about time that we've got owners that care about the club. Man City, we are coming for you. A very strong message there from Luca. Carmichael saying we needed it to be this way. Don OG saying 2 bidders owning clubs in France, but the difference is clear. Jim would have been awful. Red Knight saying it's actually going to go for the is it actually been going for the past 2 days in Qatar that the bid won, but the news doesn't reach England audience? It will do soon. It will do soon. I won't worry about that. Something will come out about that. I'm telling you now, I know I'm seeing a Romano, someone credible in the UK who's usually putting on, I know Romano's Italian, I take it. But someone credible will report on this today. I'm telling you right now, something will pop out. Whether it's this morning, this afternoon, or later on today. People will be putting in legwork right now to find out the specific details. And there's only so much you can find out. It's not as if you can go to the Rain Group. You know, if you go to the Rain Group and you can say, tell us what's happening. Have they won? And they go, yep, they won because NDA's tight-lipped. Told you, that's the situation at the minute. But something's going on. That's undeniable. Something is going on. SYGL Lee says Qatar at them. Now we can all get Eric Ten Hag targets. Long-time Glazers. Figon outside. Jim driving and Jimmy. I can't think, yeah. I take your point, yeah. I can't interpret that in my own spin, but I kind of get what you're saying. Let's see what people in TikTok are saying. Get involved. Let's have a look. Yeah, by the way, the shares rose by like 16%, and this is when the trading was closed. So it's gone up like 2.5 million. So, like I said, something's going on, whether you want to believe it or not. Let's have a look. Anything you think is going to happen, the opposite will happen, says Ian Warren. We can bet Mbappe will come to United. I'm going to touch on Mbappe in a second. Getting an FC United of Manchester United ticket, the second Qatar announced, would rather die than this, says Michael. Very strong take. Have you seen how much the new Tottenham manager wants for him? I don't know who you're referring to there. Nothing on Sky Sports about the Qataris. Right, listen. Sky Sports will jump on this when some credible journalists have come out and said so. I'm telling you, they'll wait. Like I'm saying, they'll wait for someone like an Ornstein. They'll wait for something like that, and then they'll put it out. I've told you. I said yesterday, Sky Sports news are slow as fuck. They're slow. You will see tonight Sky Cavitt on the Bella or that Darmish Seth, whatever his name is, talking about this. What we're talking about now, what people were talking about last night, what people were tweeting about last night. Sky Sports News are not the ones anymore. They're not. On certain transfers and certain topics, legal situations, Sky Sports are good. They're all right. Well, things like this, they're not any more in the know than anybody else. Eric Matunde saying we need super wealth to compete with the very best. Let's go Qatar. I get that narrative, but I don't completely agree with it. I think, if you look at the spend that Manchester United have had over the past 10 to 12 years, it's the exact same as Manchester City, if not more. And we've just spent it wrong. So you kind of ask yourself the question, if we had spent that right, would we be in a similar situation? If our recruitment was spot on, you've got Man City who were spending like 150, 160 million pound on De Bruyne, Haaland, Cancelo. We're spending the same amount of money on Maguire, Fred, Wan-Bissaka, if not more. So you can see the difference in recruitment and why certain teams are where they are and why we are where we're. So we've got money to self-sustain. We make, I say this all the time. We make about £600 million a year. Obviously, 300 million, that's about wages. You've got a few other things, but we are self-sustainable. If we didn't have the debt lingering and the credit cards and all this other bollocks that the Glazers have left on us, we could pay for the stadium on our own. We could pay for transfers. It's just we're in a shitty situation now where it's kind of like we need that cash injection to go forward. We do. It's as simple as that. Rice Singh saying Asia's having the biggest fan base of Man United and we're happy with Qatar. Look, we appreciate all kind of demographics around the world. United are a global fan base, so we understand that. But everybody's got their own opinion. I understand everybody's opinion. I take it. Red Knight says we need the debt off, not super wealth. And again, it kind of falls into what I've just said there, innit? Like, I get what you're saying. Kosher Plus is saying, has Qatar won? It feels like that, yeah. It feels like the wind is, because the past couple of days, momentum's been picking up with Qatar. You're hearing different things. You saw the thing come out about Nasser Al Khalifa potentially working on the deal, and he came out like, oh no, I'm committed to PSG, I'm not doing that, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But if anyone actually did the research when the news got announced about Qatar, his name was the first one that popped up as being the kind of intermediary between both camps who could kind of work on this with him. And I think he's got a seat on like the QIA, like a chief executive. So there's something in it. And Ornstein tweeted that, put that out for a certain reason. So take that for what you will. Benjamin Wendy, thoughts on David De Gea situation? Why hasn't he signed yet? And do you think he fancies the Saudis? I think personally, David De Gea wanted to go back to Spain. There isn't any takers in Spain at the minute. So it's kind of like, do you sign a new contract at Man United, but you're not guaranteed to be first choice, because we could bring a keeper in for competition, especially if we get significant investment. So it's like, do you want to be number one goalkeeper in Saudi, earn shitloads of money? Or do you want to compete, fight for your place at United at a club where you've been for the past 10 years and reduce your wage and have competition? That's the choice. I feel like that's why it's not been signed at the minute. That's why he's kind of sat on the contract and he's like, I don't know what to do. So the David De Gea situation is fascinating. Me personally, everybody knows my take on this. For anybody who watches the channel religiously and relentlessly, knows I've said for ages, since the start of this season pretty much, that De Gea ain't the guy going forward. If you want to play out from the back, he ain't that guy. It's as simple as that. He's not going to learn it. He's not going to pick it up. He's like 32. It's not something you can just learn. He's had years and years and years to do it. He just can't do it. He's not good at it. And when you watch Onana, for example, in the Champions League final, I know they lost to City, but you look when he receives the ball, City players were scared to press him because he's that good on it. He's like Lissandro playing out from the back. When you have a goalkeeper like that, it just takes the pressure off you immensely. And I can identify the Brighton game. I can identify the Man City game. There's loads of games where we have possession, straight out, give it them back, and they're back on the attack. It happened. Go watch the final. I promise you. In the first half, it happened about 13 times. Genuinely, about 13 times. And that's against Man City, who, you know, as soon as you give them the ball back, you're not having it for another 10 minutes. So I believe we need another goalkeeper. I think David De Gea will eventually stay. I don't know what the holdup is. I don't think he's the type of guy to just go to Qatar. I think he's, he'll want a fight. He'll have that kind of competition in him. But yeah, we've got 36 people in the chat. Let me know your thoughts on Qatar, if they have one, if you're happy about this, if you wanted to Jim Ratcliffe, or if you wanted somebody else. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, because right now I'm about to talk about Kylian Mbappe. Like I said last night, loads of news breaking. We had news about Mbappe before this kind of article came out, I believe. Obviously not coincidental. People will be putting two and two together saying, oh, we signed an Mbappe. No, I don't. It's not as simple as that. I think Real Madrid are favourites. But nonetheless, Fabrizio Romano tweeted saying, Kylian Mbappe has informed PSG of his decision. He'll not trigger the option to extend the current contract until 2025. It means that the deal would expire next June in 2024. And this is what L'Equipe, are they called? I have no idea. The outlet in France, basically. PSG position, no plan to lose Kylian for free. Sign new deal now, or he could be sold. Apparently, PSG are surprised with Kylian Mbappe's decision, as there was no legal need for Mbappe to send any letter. As from the 1st of August, it's automatically non-renewal. Paris's position is clear. Sign a new deal, or club open to let him go this summer. 1 second. Need that coffee to wake me up. Now, is this a coincidence? Is this a coincidence? Absolutely. Am I still going to milk this for everything I can? Absolutely. Would you take Kylian Mbappe at Manchester United? Let's put a poll out on the chat. Let's see what people are. In fact, I need to end this poll first before I do. I'd like to see the people who say no to this, just out of pure interest. So, Would you take? But I get why people wouldn't because of the certain financial ramifications. Let's see. Let's see. I'm really interested. Get in the comment section as well. Let me know. Sam saying sick of this. Just end the madness. Red Knight saying no, we don't need him. 100% no so far. 80%. I would take him. Genuinely. I mean, I don't know how you're going to figure out his wages. I don't know how that will work with FFP. I don't even know if he'd come to Manchester United just purely because of the fact he's a winner. And as much as it kills me to say United are on the right track, I believe they will be back competing near the top titles, etc., especially with significant investment. But I think he's in his head. He's like, I want to be winning World Cups, Champions leagues every year, pretty much. Obviously, he can't win a World Cup every year, but you take my point. Like that's his mentality, right? I don't think he's going to look at Manchester United as a prospect where you're like, yeah, they've won the Carabao Cup, they finished third. Do you know what I mean? Is that enticing enough? Like United are a huge entity. You know, this badge means a lot, but I'm sure Real Madrid are favourites for it. I'm absolutely sure Real Madrid are favourites for it. But it's certainly an interesting thing to discuss. How much would he cost? Is another. How much would Mbappe cost? If you're going to go buy him right now, how much would he cost? Do you think? Benjamin Muendu saying, "Come on, I'll take Mbappe in a heartbeat. Mbappe and Rashford. Imagine Mbappe and Rashford. I know it's all dream talk. It's so far away from anything like that even remotely happening. It's just a fun discussion. So before anyone gets in the comments saying Mbappe, you've not even been taken over yet. Blah blah blah. Like I understand. Bear Fuji says £200 million. Yeah. Well, didn't PSG reject like 170 from Real Madrid? But then you've got Qatar who are taking over United. Qatar own PSG. Is it dodgy dealings to be? I don't know. I don't know. Shah Sam, did you see what he did in the World Cup final? How could you not want him? Yeah, that World Cup final was like unbelievable. For 70 minutes, the game was dead. Absolutely dead. And then he just switched it on like that. You've got Erling Haaland, who's currently at Manchester United. Not at Manchester United. Could have had him for 4 million. Erling Haaland, who's at Manchester City, who's just won the treble. Who's the next global superstar and talent level who can compete with that? Right now, other than Mbappe, name one. Name one. He's the guy. You have Mbappe at United competing, a few more signings coming in. City with Haaland, De Bruyne, all these kind of guys. The stage is set. The stage is set. But yeah, would you take Kylian Mbappe? Comments. How much is he worth? People saying 200 million. People saying 150 million. People saying a packet of crisp. It's a very expensive pack of crisp. Red Knights, there are more important positions for the squad to fill rather than taking someone that's going to milk us for 2 years and then go to Madrid. Cleon Lopez says it's better to get Kane Premier League proven. The Harry Kane situation, though. Look, think if you're going to spend over 100 million on Harry Kane, I mean, you might as well spend 150 on Mbappe, 170. The guy's only, what is he, 23? 23. I think how much Mbappe would improve us as a team. I get the arrogance that comes with the package and he'll probably take Darren Fletcher's job. He'll probably take the board level. I get it. And I understand why people don't want. I genuinely understand why people don't want him. But he's still a top level player. He's still a very good player. Alex Pangensu saying, are you seriously Qatar here? We go to Man United. I don't get the question. Please repeat. Okoku Danielle says, this is great news. Brendan Mills says, want his stupid money and putting on signings at PSG and then still want to leave after a year. Don't want that at United. Brendan saying Mbappe is worth 150 million due to a year left, I guess. Good, very good shout. Very good shout. SYGL Lee says Qatar over Jim any day. Now is the time to take back our wonderful football club from these greedy Glazers who blatantly keep squeezing the club for their personal gain. Not sure about Mbappe. Vegard says, oh man, love the sharp shirt. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. What's everyone saying in the TikTok? Let me read out a few comments. Who is saying? Jamie saying, everyone's saying they take him crazy. They would love him at their club. Have Qatar won? Seems like it. The wind's blowing in that direction. Something to be announced before the transfer window, in my opinion. Just put out there, in my opinion. But Mbappe's bombshell could help United in the pursuit of Harry Kane. No player bigger than the badge, don't want or need him. is Qatar or Ratcliffe. This is what I love about a community and about a fan base, is split opinions. Nobody's right, absolutely right. Nobody's wrong. Everybody's entitled to their opinions. That's what it's all about. Mbappe is no use as a player, says Croc Gobbler. Love the name. My favourite player. H&H Maintenance says he'll be bringing all the drama. Yeah, it would, to be fair. I've heard the Arabs are taking over Man U. Have Qatar won? I think, personally, Qatar are going to win this. I think that's the direction it's going. I think, like I said, I've repeated myself a few times, but I think in the next 72 hours, you're going to hear something that Qatar have won the bid to buy Manchester United. That's how I feel it's gone. That's the way the wind feels like it's going. And of course, whenever it does get announced, turn on that notification bell so you do not miss a thing. Because when we go live, we are quick like that. As soon as anything gets announced, we go live straight away. So anyone who watches the channel has known that. We've got 70 people in the cut. If you want to become a real Red Ultra for exclusive content every single week, a badge next to your name, and now a chance to feature on the show, which we're going to do a live show for that for the first 11 very, very soon. So make sure members who are in the chat, you already know, keep an eye out for that. It helps support the channel. We get really good journalists on, really good people to chat to. We had James on from the Muppeteers. We've had Laurie Whitwell on before. We've had Jonathan Schrager on. We've had Jay from Stretford Paddock. Loads of people. And we've got a great community who are developing every single day. And we've got great lads on the show as well. So big up to Adam, Chive, Shreyas, Dan, Sam, my brother, of course, who does this channel alongside me. Dave as well. Like, it's growing. It's getting really, really good. And that's thanks to, we've got 78 people who are currently watching right now who are consistently putting comments in, consistently letting us know, giving us feedback, what kind of content they like. So we appreciate every single one of you. And trust me, like I said, anything breaks today, if Ornstein drops a bit of a bombshell, if Romano, whoever it is, which we're kind of expecting, we're going to be live. Trust me, we will be live on this talking about it because it's a very interesting situation. But for people just joining, the news that was coming out last night is that Sheikh Jassim's bid has been successful. The deal will be announced soon. United, so the publication in Qatar, which is called Al Watan Qatar, apparently Sheikh Jassim's father owns half of that newspaper, and they're reporting that they have been successful in the bid. Certain Qatari journalists have been congratulating them on him. And then you've had the BBC economics editor come out for Sal Islam saying the Glazers were trying all methods to squeeze the Jassim bid. The spike in Manchester United shares means that traders betting the Glazers are about to sell, essentially. That's what it is. And he also put, where's the tweet? Let me find the tweet. The reason the share price is a gauge of perceived likelihood of Qatar victory is Jassim's bidded for 100% of shares and will pay out on the New York listed shares at takeover price. Ineos bid is believed to be focused on the Glazers shares alone. Listed shares won't immediately benefit, which Simon Stone has retweeted as well. So that's where we're at the minute. I'm just going to check if there's any further more updates before I go off, so I don't like, you know what I mean? We have to bring Bartes back. Oh, love it. Qatari win. Maybe. We have to, I've already read that out. Vincent Bullock says, I think we could do with a lady on the show, upbringing females as well. Absolutely. 100%. If there's any females you know who kind of love talking about Manchester United, drop me a message, drop me a nat. We're more than likely to discuss and bring that diversity. We've got lads on from India, from Nigeria, from Ireland, from England. We want a full community. So, yeah, of course, Vincent, any day. I like this channel, man. First time watching this guy. Thank you very much, Vegard. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate everyone who's watching as well. Steve Gunn, I can't pronounce that name. Wish I could. Don't get why people want Qatar. Let us know your opinion. Why don't you want Qatar? Ranak saying, is it confirmed Qatar takeover? It's not clickbait. It's genuinely, it's not clickbait. It's not. This is in the news. Publication's been put out by Sir Jim's father. No, Sir Jim's father. Sorry. Jesus. It's the morning, you can tell, can't you? Not Sir Jim's father, Sheikh Jassim's father. And the stock price has gone whoop, like 2.5 million. There's no smoke without fire. I'll send you someone who does Man U as a big United fan. Absolutely. I'll look into it, sure. Medi, Qatar money will be the only way to compete with Man City. Ryan saying, are you sure about the news? Tell me it's true that Qatar is... I'm positive. I'm positive about what's come out. One thing that's a fact, the stock prices have gone up. That's an absolute fact. Now, the publication that Sheikh Jassim's father's put out, is that propaganda? It's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell at the minute. But everything, if you're, regular on Twitter and you see what's being put out, I've touched on the BBC economic editor who's been speaking. I've spoke about Simon Stone. Simon Stone rarely, retweets things or comments on things unless it's pretty concrete, to be honest. So, yeah. Let's have a look. Not happy with state ownership, but I can't do anything about it, says Sam. Vegard, we surely need Greenwood back as well. Not for me personally, but yeah, everyone's entitled to opinion. So now Mbappe or Kane in the striker position. I mean, Mbappe is a mad one, isn't it? It is a mad one. I wouldn't say it's out of the realms of possibility. It is a little bit dreamland at the minute, but I don't know. 100 people in the chat. Subscribe to Real Reds Talk. We will go live when shit like this breaks. Very early in the morning. Good morning to everyone. Or maybe good afternoon or maybe good evening to wherever you are on the planet. Love every single one of you. Thank you for tuning in. Jack Reeves saying I can no longer support United anymore if they get us. That's fair. I love everyone's opinions. Abhishek Madar says, are you pro Qatar or Sir Jim? I've been on the fence. I've got splinters in my backside. I've not fully committed to one or the other. What I personally wanted, I want 100% sale for sure. I want the Glazers gone and significant funds. I wanted Amazon or Apple. That was ideal for myself personally. But Qatar are the only ones who are offering 100% and the Glazers gone. If Sir Jim's deal wasn't keeping the Glazers in and it was a debt-free takeover and he was going to invest, then it's similar for me. Genuinely, it's similar for me. But the fact is, it's not. He's only going to buy 60% now, apparently. And then all the other 6 siblings, whatever their names are, I've said it before, Gertrude, Peter, Kenneth, Darcy, fucking Gertrude, Sebastian, all these baby rats that are like, money. They're still going to be there. And you still know they're going to be making money off the club. That's the issue with me. So that's why Qatar, I'm like, yes, but then there's issues that you need to discuss. But then, is there really a morally correct billionaire out there? They've said they're going to invest in the women's team. They said they're going to do this. Like, I don't know. It's a minefield, isn't it? I understand everybody's opinions, though. I'm not saying one person's right and one person's wrong. Steve Gunnelson says, just feels like we're selling our soul for short-term success. A club with our history should be owned by people who actually care and no blood money. Just my opinion, though. Love the content. Thanks, Siv. Thank you. Appreciate that. Gray saying, Cleon Lopez, you'll see the next level United in the next 2 years with Ten Hag and Qatar owner. Ali Carlos Jabby says, great news. Rick Young says, do you think transfers are dragging down due to transfer? Oh, yeah, 100%. There's not a chance, like, Ten Hag can't work with this. He will want this done immediately. And that's why I'm saying the window opens on Wednesday, right? We've now got a window between now and then. It's Monday. And you got 48 hours, 72 hours max before the window opens. These guys, whoever it is who's taking over, Sir Jim Ratcliffe or Qatar, whoever it is, will want this done immediately so they can start working. I think you'll see a domino effect once it's announced. You'll see Mason Mount, Rasmus Højlund probably, Kim Min-jae. His release clause is active, I think, from the 1st of July to the 15th of July. So that'd be a nice birthday present for myself. I think that will happen. I don't think we get Harry Kane. I think the Harry Kane plane is taking off, in my personal opinion. Let's have a look. Ryan saying, I want everything sold to Qatar. I must confess. What song's that? It's killing me and I. Is that Britney? It's Britney, isn't it? I still believe. Sorry, I'll stop singing now. Me D, only way is up. Yo, what's up? Says Sochalair. Kariuku says Manchester United will be back. Dan Errington says give Ryan Reynolds and Rob a shout, see if they want to buy. Ryan Reynolds at United. Jesus. Why would anyone want the Glazers still involved? We don't want Ineos, says Canevel. Vegard, we've been tortured for the last 10, 15 years. Think we deserve instant crazy money as soon as possible. Jack Reeves says, not a good news for me. Uncensored TV says a good thing that would come out from the sales. Qatar is successful is there would be a huge boost in sales on merch, which would have a positive effect on FFP due to last summer's spends. Now, I'm not sure about that, but I think we need to sell right. We need to sell the players right. That Dean Henderson will have implications on FFP, just pure profit. Scott McTominay is another one. We've got a couple more who we could sell. Anthony Elanga. All these deals will be vitally important for how much money we want to spend. But I'm sure, to be honest, if Qatar come in, I'm sure they're just going to spend the money regardless. Do you know what I mean? They'll find a loophole. I'm not saying that's good. I'm not saying that's what's best for the club, but they will. 102 people in the chat. Make sure you subscribe to Real Red Talk. Like the video as well. We've only got 34 likes on the video. So if you like the content, there's been a lot of comments saying you do. Please do like the video. Please do subscribe. And please do become a member as well. We've got Real Red Talk Ultra member. We've got a starting 11 already. We're going to do a live show and pull a name from a hat. Whoever gets it gets to feature on a live show with us and a few more perks and things like that. So if you want to become a Real Red Ultra, click the join button next to the notification bell. It's about £5 a month. You get exclusive content, a badge next to your name, and a chance to feature on the show as well. And then little bits of extra news as well, if and when we get it from speaking to certain people. So we appreciate every single one of you doing the cut right now. Say my name correctly. Says, I wish I could. Solskjaer. Tell me how to pronounce it, man. Lee saying managing Mbappe may be difficult given his high ego. In my opinion, he's a good player with loads of pace, agility, both attacking and defensive strengths, and sharp goal-scoring prowess. Mbappe is top level. Top level. But it's a little bit of dream talk. We're allowed to dream though, right? We're allowed to dream, I suppose. His dad's newspaper confirmed it, just waiting for the United announcement. United, says someone. Who would buy Maguire? Good question. Accrington Stanley? Selling Maguire is going to be difficult. It is, because you've got a guy there. United won't want to sell him for a shit amount because it just looks so bad, and the fact they bought him for 80 million. So they'll want to retain, at least try retain 50% of that. Another factor is his wages. The guy's on 200 grand a week. Another factor is he seems to, in his head, he seems to still think he's... Siobhan, thank you for coming a member. Appreciate it. Enjoy all the content and all the exclusive stuff. Maguire, yeah, sorry. He seems to, in his head, just believe he's a lot better than... Do you remember that interview he gave after a game where he's like, well, I keep getting picked, so it must be good. And you're like, just read the room, mate. Read the room. And this is because of Gareth Southgate, and this is because of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's like, well, I'm playing for England, so I must be. And it's like, no, mate, you're not. You're not. You get exposed in the high line. You've got the agility of a dog turd, and you're not good enough for Man United. We've got Lisandro Martinez, and we've got Varane. It's time to go. If you had anything about you, Harry, you would move to another club, and you would look for first in football. It's as simple as that. It is as simple as that. So, yeah. Dan Errington, even if Qatar do take over, what's the budget roughly United can spend in the transfer window? I mean, it's hard to predict that, to be honest with you. It's really hard. From what we know now, even without takeover, I think it was 150 to 200 million. So if Qatar take over, I don't know. No, depends. It still depends how well we sell as well, I think. That's vitally important. And we've never been good at selling players. So it's so important that we get that right. Shreyas saying, everyone new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Big up Shreyas. Shah Sam saying, just buy him out of the club. Vegard saying, the true speed of Harry Maguire is truly amazing. Yeah, he's a turtle reincarnated in it, Maguire. Is Qatar coming? Feels like it. Yeah, I think it is, to be honest. And this, it's not clickbait. It's not nothing like that. It's, if you do your research, look on Twitter, look at everything that's been reported. The stock market's rising by like 2.5 million, 16%. There's something going on. There's something going on. Red Knight saying, if United go private and they sell and sign new sponsorship in 2 weeks. Yeah, you could probably see Qatar Airways or something jumping on the shirt, can't you? Thoughts on Højlund? People call him underrated as he's not Prem proven. Højlund's a good striker. From the bits I've seen, very instinctive. Got pace. He's very quick as well. He's got pace about him. Penalty box poacher. He's got all the makings of a good striker, but he's not. The thing, what you're going to get with Harry Kane is guaranteed goal, isn't it? He scored 17 goals plus in the Premier League for the last 10 years. That's like, you can't buy that anywhere. It's just gold standard. That's what you get with him. But 100 million for a 30-year-old who's going to be 31. When was he 31 now? Not too long anyway. We're going to be discussing this in 2-3 years' time. We're going to sit here saying like, oh, who's the next? Should we go spend 140 million on this guy? Like, United always buy old strikers. Igalo, Cavani, Falcao, Ronaldo. Like, the list is endless. We never really buy young strikers. So I think it'd be refreshing to bring in someone like a Rasmus Højlund. And I also think he's most likely now, rather than Harry Kane, for 40 million. I think you get him. You probably have him and Rashford dovetailing as a 9. Mason Mount in the 8 is definite. When we were speaking to James yesterday on the show. And then Kim Min-jae, release clause, depending on Maguire as well, could potentially happen. And then anything else, outside of that. But anything's a possibility with a new takeover, to be honest with you. The targets could completely change. They might say to Ten Hag, look, your funds are like this, so whatever targets you want to go get, if you actually want Kane, they will want to make a statement if they come in. They'll want a big money signing. Their big money signing, with all due respect, it's not going to be Rasmus Højlund, is it? It's not going to be Mason Mount. They will want that sparkly signing like an Mbappe or a Kane or something, a shirt seller, this kind of guy to say, we are here with Qatar and we're going to run this league. And yeah, that's how I think it's going to go, personally. Like I said, 110 people in the chat. Please do like the video if you're watching. Please do. I put a poll out before saying, would you take Mbappe at United? 75% said yes. 25% said no. So thank you for interacting with that. I appreciate it. And like I said, if you want to become a member for exclusive content, a badge 16 name, and a chance to feature on the show, click that join button. You get loads of fun content and interactive stuff. So Ted Ochiinu says, who's better between Højlund and Mwane? My personal... you know what? I like Mwane at the World Cup. I've watched little bits of him at Frankfurt. I haven't watched him enough, though. So I think he's at the level now. I think Kolo Muani is probably a little bit higher, doing it better. But Rasmus Højlund is still a great shout, and it's not something United usually do, right? So yeah, I'm happy about that. Vegard saying, do you think they'll start selling really nice carpets in a supporter shop at Old Trafford? Jack Reeves missing out on Kane is devastating. It's not completely done yet. Not completely done yet. Ten Hag won't pay more than 50 mil for Mount. Neither would I. I like Mason Mount, but as soon as you start going above that £60 million mark, no thanks. Shreyas is saying the fact is that the sort of backing Ten Hag would become unstoppable, no doubt about it. Yeah, there's currently fans of other teams quivering at the minute. Jack Reeves, do you think we need Qatar to compete? I don't. On the contrary, I've always thought we do, but having spoken from people in a much closer situation than I am, and just doing basic research, if the Glazers didn't put us in this debt, we wouldn't need this cash injection. We could pay for it ourselves, the brick and mortar of the stadium. We could pay, and we could pay for transfers, but it's just the shit situation the Glazers have put us in. That's, unfortunately, that we're in that because of them. It is what it is. Wing Gaming Zone says Mbappe's better than Kane. I mean, probably, yeah. Jack Reeves saying Mbappe isn't a striker. Wing Gaming. Yeah, Mbappe could play across the front line as well. I just think, imagine a counter-attack with Mbappe and Rashford. Deadly. Absolutely deadly. Thank you for everyone who's following on TikTok. If you don't follow the YouTube channel, we've got loads of people in the cut right now. Make sure you subscribe to Real Reds Talk on YouTube. The link's in the bio for updates on Qatari ownership and transfers and all that kind of jazz. But yeah, I'll answer a few more questions and then I'll head off. I've been on much longer than I thought I would, to be fair, but I don't mind because you lot are interacting. So yeah, Jaden saying he's feeling Qatari today. He is feeling Qatari. A few more in the TikTok. Sancho to Brighton. I'd probably take money for Sancho right now. It might be controversial saying that, but if we got offered 50, 60 million for Sancho, I'd take it. Genuinely. Is Sancho getting sold? I don't think he will. No, I don't think. I think we've got much more priorities than that. But yeah, look, I'm going to leave it there, guys. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Really appreciate every single one of you guys. We're going to be live later on again today with some more updates. I believe you're going to hear something. And within the next 72 hours, I think United are going to be sold. But we'll see what happens. We'll keep you updated. Make sure you follow the TikTok, the Twitter, and the Instagram for updates, regular news updates on the Twitter. You get aesthetically pleasing visuals and reels on the Instagram. And then I'm on TikTok now. You guys know the clips that I put on there, decent clips. So make sure you check that out as well. Follow us on socials. All of you are absolute legends. And let's see what happens with Manchester United. Have Qatar won the race? Let's see. Big up. Have a lovely day. And I'm sure I'll be seeing you in a few hours. So, yeah, take care. Big up everyone in the TikTok as well.